Last night on Monday Night Raw, you guys, we seen Charlotte Flair versus Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross has been getting into the middle of Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley and saying that I can beat you in 2 minutes. And then she ends up winning by either disqualification or she wins by like a roll up or something. And then we see Charlotte Flair is holding Nikki Cross as she stares at Rhea Ripley and saying, "This is what I'm going to do to you at the Hell in a Cell this Sunday." And as she's just sitting there watching like, "Ah, you're not going to do this to me," so on and so forth, you guys. And so after then, we see Charlotte Flair showboating at Rhea Ripley, and while Rhea Ripley is just looking at Charlotte Flair, basically looking at her like she's an idiot, and you better go in there and finish your match with Nikki Cross. Otherwise, you won't beat me this Sunday. And Charlotte Flair, she's very talented and everything, you guys. And then she loses the match and then boots Nikki Cross in the head because she lost her match. Which it's typical, you guys, because we've seen this all before. Then we see John Morrison versus Jeff Hardy, a match that we haven't seen in over a decade, which is 10 years for you guys that don't know. We see Jeff Hardy go for the Tree of Woe. Then we see John Morrison go for some kind of spinning kick type thing, you guys. And, Jeff Hardy and John Morrison are some very talented professional wrestlers, been wrestling for a long time. And we see Jeff Hardy go for like this weird pinning combination here. And that is something that I haven't seen, in a while from Jeff Hardy. But Jeff Hardy, he just is that talented. And let me know, you guys, your thoughts and opinions over Jeff Hardy now. And then Jeff Hardy ends up throwing a towel at The Miz and asks Corey Graves, "Was that at me or was that at you?" And so Jeff Hardy goes up and goes for the Whisper in the Wind, one of Jeff Hardy's favorite moves that he has been doing for over the years. And John Morrison ends up hitting the Starship Pain on Jeff Hardy, which surprised me, you guys. And I was like, wow. I was like, Morrison winning a match all by himself, no help from The Miz or anything. And so we see that John Morrison hand is raised by the referee. What is next for John Morrison? Hopefully he will battle Sheamus or something. I hope he at least gets some type of title run or something, you guys. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. Then we see Cedric Alexander versus Jeff Hardy once again, as we seen last week, where Jeff Hardy defeated Cedric Alexander, and Cedric Alexander wants Jeff Hardy to retire. And we see Cedric Alexander goes up for the Swanton Bomb, is what I call it, but he ends up missing. After then, you guys, we see that Cedric Alexander tries to go for that little flip kick that he normally does all the time, but Jeff Hardy ends up countering that, and Jeff Hardy hits the Twist of Fate on Cedric Alexander. And after he hits the Twist of Fate on Cedric Alexander, Jeff Hardy ends up going on the rope and going for the Swanton Bomb, even though now in WWE they call it like the Senton, or because his brother Matt Hardy owns the names. Then we see Jeff Hardy hands raised. Who will Jeff Hardy wrestle next week on Monday Night Raw? Will he possibly have like a pre-show match or something like that? Will Superstar try to wrestle him to get him to retire, or what? After then, you guys, we see Naomi. We thought she was going to face Eva Marie, but she ends up facing one of NXT UK stars, Piper. And Piper ends up coming out wrestling for Eva Marie. And I looked at it, I was like, wow, who is this lady? And then we see her hit like a back senton onto Naomi's chest. I was like, whoa. After then, you guys, then we see her do bounce off the rope and do a running splash. I'm like, man, I'm like, she is dominant. Then we see her go for the Noku driver, you guys, on Naomi. And Naomi, I know she was like, who in the world is she when she first came out? She won the match, and then we see Eva Marie with like a look. She was happy at first, then that look kind of changed. Like, was there someone over there in the crowd? Not in the crowd, but like one of the cameramen or somebody saying something to her, because that look she had. Then we had the New Day versus Riddle and Randy Orton, which was one of my favorite matches of the night, you guys. And as you see, Riddle goes for the Northern Light suplex pin combination. And then we see Randy Orton and Riddle has Xavier Woods up in the air for a double team power bomb. And you guys, they are just a pretty good team. And then we see we see Kofi Kingston jump off the rope, and then we see Riddle ends up kicking Kofi. And then we see Xavier Woods try to roll up Randy Orton. And then after he tries to roll up Randy Orton, which, of course, Randy Orton won't let him allow to do that, Xavier Woods jumps off the rope, receives a quick RKO. Well, he was trying to do a one of those little monkey flip things, and then got RKO, and he won. Then we seen Asuka versus Rhea Ripley in a match, you guys. During that match, we see Rhea Ripley ends up getting taken to her limits. And then we seen Rhea Ripley ends up coming back, tries to go for some type of move that she was trying to do. And then we see her go for Rhea Ripley try to go for her submission. After she goes for her submission, she ends up catching Asuka and trying to do the riptide, but Asuka was trying to hold on and do her submission. And then the riptide ends up getting connected by Rhea Ripley onto Asuka. And after then, you guys, we see that Rhea Ripley defeated the former Raw Women's Champion Asuka, and she get her hand raised, you guys. How will that match between Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley go this Sunday inside Hell in a Cell? I hope it's good, you guys. We will definitely see. And we seen that Charlotte Flair came in and attacked Rhea Ripley, but Rhea Ripley ends up rolling over, and it was like an all-out brawl. And I can tell that these two women, you guys, will possibly break the house down at Hell in a Cell. And then we had the match where we had Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax. And then as Alexa Bliss was wrestling, of course, Reggie was on the outside, and Alexa was doing some slaps back in the face of Nia Jax. And I was like, wow, you guys. Then you guys, we see, of course, Reggie is looking on at Alexa Bliss trying to go up on the top rope to do like a top rope move. And then after then, Alexa goes for the pin, of course. But Reggie comes in and snatches Alexa Bliss off the top of Nia Jax, saving Nia Jax from getting pinned, but she still ends up losing the match by disqualification. Then, of course, you guys, we see Alexa Bliss hypnotizing Reggie, and I was like, whoa, that's weird. Then we see the next match of Jackson Ryker versus Elias. Jackson Ryker has gotten powerful, you guys. And so Jackson Ryker was taking it to the limits of taking it to the limits of Elias. But then again, you guys, Elias ends up walking away, and the hand of Jackson Ryker gets raised. Hopefully, we will see more and more from Jackson Ryker, and I want to see him to be a unstoppable force as a mid-card superstar. And so after then, you guys, we seen AJ Styles versus Drew McIntyre in a one-on-one match. The match ends up, pretty good. And then, so after then, that's when we see Omos, of course, at ringside. And then Bobby Lashley is up in the VIP lounge, up on the stage. And then that's when the Viking Raiders comes out. Omos starts taking off his jacket. And I was like, oh, crap. I was like, I know what they're about to do now. They're about to do a 6-man tag team match. You guys, of course, we were going to see Drew McIntyre and the Viking Raiders versus Omos, AJ, and Bobby Lashley in a 6-man tag team match. Of course, you see Omos pushing Ivar over the thing. And then we seen Omos ends up snatching Eric and throwing him over in the timekeeper's area. And then Omos ends up getting the throat of the number 1 contender for the WWE Championship, squeezing his neck, you guys. I was like, man, I would not ever want to be wrapped around the hands of Omos. And so after then, you guys, we of course seen Omos ends up snatching the hair of Drew McIntyre, snatched him down to the ground. But Drew McIntyre ends up coming in, you guys, hitting the Claymore as he get tagged in by AJ Styles. But AJ Styles meant to tag in Omos, but I guess AJ Styles said, Drew, he said to himself, Drew was over there getting the Claymore, so Drew McIntyre wins.